What if 6 Liverpool players are about to return from the World Cup, only to discover they no longer have a future at Anfield? According to explosive reports, new Liverpool boss Andoni Iraola has already begun making ruthless decisions before even taking charge of his first competitive match. While some of Liverpool's biggest stars are focused on chasing World Cup glory, a storm is brewing behind the scenes. And the message allegedly coming from the club couldn't be clearer: find a new club. From fan favourites to World Cup veterans, the names linked with a possible exit have left supporters stunned. Some are club legends. Others were once considered the future of Liverpool. But in Iraola's vision for a new-look red side, reputation may count for nothing. Why are these players suddenly on the chopping block? Who has already been told their time is up? And could the World Cup become their final audition before Liverpool shows them the door? The answers are far more shocking than anyone expected. When Andoni Iraola was officially chosen as Liverpool's new manager, many supporters expected tactical changes, fresh ideas, and perhaps a few new signings. What they did not expect was the possibility of a massive squad clear-out before the new season had even begun. Liverpool's decision to replace Slot shocked much of the football world. After all, Slot had delivered Premier League success not long before his departure. But football moves fast, and after a dramatic collapse in form during the following campaign, Liverpool's hierarchy decided that a new direction was needed. They wanted more intensity, more aggression, and a style capable of restoring Liverpool to the very top of European football. That search led them to Andoni Iraola. The Spanish coach built a reputation for fearless, high-energy football during his impressive spell at Bournemouth. Despite operating with far fewer resources than England's traditional giants, Iraola transformed Bournemouth into one of the most difficult teams to face in the Premier League. His pressing system, relentless work ethic, and tactical discipline earned admiration across the country. Liverpool had reportedly monitored Iraola for years. Some insiders even claimed the club viewed him as a potential successor to Jurgen Klopp long before the current vacancy emerged. So when the opportunity finally arrived, Liverpool moved quickly. But every managerial appointment comes with consequences. A new coach brings a new vision, and not every player fits that vision. Reports now suggest that several Liverpool stars could be facing uncertain futures at Anfield. Some are experienced veterans who have served the club with distinction. Others were once viewed as the next generation of Liverpool leaders. Yet all of them are now reportedly under serious evaluation. What makes the situation even more dramatic is the timing. Many of these players are currently competing on football's biggest stage, the World Cup. While they focus on representing their countries, discussions about their club futures continue behind the scenes. For some, the tournament could become an opportunity to attract interest from other clubs. For others, it may be a final chance to prove they still belong at Liverpool. As transfer rumours intensify and Liverpool prepare for another major rebuild, one thing is becoming increasingly clear: Iraola is not arriving at Anfield to maintain the status quo. He is arriving to reshape the squad in his own image. And if the latest reports are accurate, several familiar faces may soon discover that they no longer have a place in Liverpool's future. Everything changed the moment reports emerged that Andoni Iraola had already begun evaluating Liverpool's squad before even officially taking charge of pre-season training. Most new managers arrive, assess the players, hold meetings, and then slowly make decisions. But according to multiple reports surrounding the club, Iraola's approach appears far more ruthless. Liverpool's dramatic collapse after their title-winning campaign left little room for sentiment. The club hierarchy wants immediate change, and Iraola has reportedly been given significant authority to reshape the squad. That is where the real conflict begins. While millions of football fans are focused on the World Cup, several Liverpool players are facing a completely different battle behind the scenes. Instead of worrying solely about international success, they are also wondering whether they still have a future at Anfield. And the list of names being discussed is not made up of fringe players. We're talking about experienced veterans, international captains, Champions League winners, and even a World Cup champion. The most shocking name of all may be Alisson Becker. For years, Alisson has been one of Liverpool's most reliable performers. His incredible saves helped deliver major trophies, and many supporters consider him one of the greatest goalkeepers in club history. Yet suddenly, rumours linking him with a move away refuse to disappear. Juventus continue to monitor the Brazilian goalkeeper, and reports suggest discussions about his future could take place after the World Cup. Think about how surprising that sounds. A player once viewed as untouchable is now being linked with an exit during a major rebuild. Whether those reports become reality remains to be seen, But the fact that such conversations are happening at all tells you how serious Liverpool's transformation could become. Then there is Wataru Endo. The Japanese captain fought through injury setbacks just to make the World Cup. His determination earned admiration throughout Liverpool's fanbase. But football can be brutally unforgiving. Endo is now entering his mid-30s, and Iraola's demanding high-intensity system may not perfectly align with what the midfielder offers at this stage of his career. That doesn't mean Endo lacks quality. It simply means he may no longer fit the profile Liverpool are targeting. And that distinction could determine his future. However, the biggest twist involves Federico Chiesa. Many supporters expected Chiesa to flourish after arriving from Juventus. Instead, injuries and limited opportunities prevented him from ever establishing consistent momentum. Now the Italian winger finds himself at a crossroads. Reports suggest Liverpool are willing to listen to offers, and Chiesa himself has openly spoken about wanting regular football. Unlike many transfer rumours, this situation feels different because the player and the club appear to be asking the same question. Is it time to move on? That is never a good sign. When both sides begin considering alternatives, separation often becomes inevitable. But just when fans thought those three names were the main story, another report added even more fuel to the fire. Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Joe Gomez. Players developed within Liverpool's culture. Players who understand exactly what it means to wear the shirt. Players many supporters expected to remain important parts of the club's future. Suddenly, they too were being mentioned as possible departures. And that revelation completely changed the conversation. This was no longer about clearing out aging squad members. This looked like something much bigger. It looked like a complete reset. A new manager. A new style. A new vision. And for 6 Liverpool players currently competing on football's biggest stage, the first twist had become impossible to ignore. The World Cup might be their greatest opportunity to impress. But it could also be their final audition before Liverpool decides their future. If Liverpool supporters thought the uncertainty surrounding these 6 players was dramatic enough, what happened next made the situation feel even more explosive. Because while speculation continued to swirl around potential departures, reports began suggesting that Iraola wasn't simply planning a few adjustments. He was preparing a complete transformation. And that's where the story takes a shocking turn. According to various reports, Liverpool could target as many as 7 new signings during the upcoming transfer window. 7. Think about that number for a second. Teams chasing stability don't sign 7 players. Teams looking for minor improvements don't sign 7 players. Teams preparing for a football revolution sign 7 players. That revelation immediately changed how fans interpreted the rumours surrounding Alisson, Endo, Chiesa, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, and Joe Gomez. Suddenly, these weren't isolated transfer stories anymore. They looked like pieces of a much larger puzzle. A rebuilding project that could fundamentally alter the identity of Liverpool Football Club. Behind the scenes, recruitment teams were reportedly identifying targets capable of fitting Iraola's aggressive, high-energy style. New defenders. New midfielders. New attackers. Every incoming player would create additional pressure on someone already inside the squad. And that's where the tension becomes impossible to ignore. Because while transfer targets are being discussed in boardrooms, the players themselves are thousands of miles away. Some are representing their countries at the World Cup. Some are trying to increase their market value. Some are fighting to prove they still belong at Liverpool. But the clock keeps ticking. Every day that passes brings the club closer to pre-season. Every day brings Iraola closer to making final decisions. And every day increases the possibility that difficult conversations are waiting around the corner. The most startling reveal, however, isn't necessarily the names on the exit list. It's the message those names send. Look closely. A legendary goalkeeper. An experienced international captain. An Italian star winger. 2 academy products. A loyal defender. A World Cup winning midfielder. These aren't random squad players. These are footballers who, at different moments, were viewed as important pieces of Liverpool's future. Yet now, none of them appear completely secure. That tells us something significant. No reputation is protecting anyone. No past achievement guarantees survival. No emotional connection is stronger than the club's determination to move forward. And that may be exactly why Liverpool hired Iraola in the first place. The club didn't appoint him to preserve what already exists. They appointed him to build something new. Something faster. Something more aggressive. something capable of returning Liverpool to the very top. But every rebuild comes with consequences. Every new beginning creates endings elsewhere. And for these 6 players, the uncertainty may be reaching its breaking point. Because eventually the World Cup will end. The celebrations will stop. The headlines will fade. The players will return to England. And then comes the moment many Liverpool fans are already anticipating. The face-to-face meetings. The private discussions. The decisions. Who stays? Who leaves? Who fits Iraola's vision? And who becomes part of Liverpool's past? That's the shocking reality now hanging over Anfield. The transfer rumours are no longer whispers. The rebuild is no longer a possibility. It's happening. And when pre-season begins, some familiar faces may discover that Liverpool's new era has already started without them. As news of Liverpool's potential squad overhaul spread across social media, the reaction from supporters was immediate and intense. Fans were divided almost instantly. One side argued that drastic action was necessary after Liverpool's disappointing decline following their title-winning campaign. They believe Iraola was brought in to make difficult decisions, not popular ones. From their perspective, no player should be guaranteed a place simply because of past achievements. The other side wasn't convinced. Many supporters questioned how players like Alisson, Joe Gomez, and Alexis Mac Allister could even be mentioned in transfer discussions. These aren't fringe squad members. These are players who have contributed significantly to Liverpool's recent successes. For some fans, the reports felt less like a rebuild and more like a gamble. Across football forums and fan channels, debates exploded. Was Liverpool being brave? Or were they risking the loss of valuable experience? The discussion became even louder because several of the players linked with exits were either competing at the World Cup or had recently represented their countries at major international tournaments. Every strong performance suddenly became a talking point. Whenever Alisson produced a brilliant save, supporters questioned why Liverpool would even consider letting him go. Whenever Mac Allister impressed in midfield, fans wondered whether the club might regret failing to secure his long-term future sooner. Even Harvey Elliott's situation generated sympathy. Many supporters pointed to his performances for England's youth teams and argued that he deserved more opportunities at club level. Former players and football pundits also weighed in. Several analysts acknowledged that managerial changes often lead to difficult squad decisions. New coaches naturally want players who fit their preferred tactical systems. However, many experts also warned about moving too aggressively. One of the biggest challenges for any new manager is balancing change with stability. Replace too few players and old problems remain. Replace too many and the dressing room can lose leadership, chemistry, and experience. That concern became a recurring theme in media discussions. Some journalists described Liverpool's reported plans as ambitious. Others described them as risky. But regardless of which side people supported, almost everyone agreed on one thing. This summer could define the next several years of Liverpool Football Club. Meanwhile, rival supporters watched the situation unfold with fascination. Some viewed Liverpool's uncertainty as an opportunity for their own clubs to pursue talented players who might suddenly become available. Others simply enjoyed watching one of England's biggest clubs enter such a dramatic period of transition. As the reactions continued to grow, one reality became increasingly clear. Iraola hadn't even overseen a competitive match yet. And still, he had already become the centre of one of the biggest football stories of the summer. The pressure was building. The spotlight was growing. And everyone in football was waiting to see whether Liverpool's bold new direction would become a masterstroke, or a mistake that would haunt the club for years. Just when it seemed the story couldn't become any more dramatic, one final detail changed everything. Despite all the reports, all the speculation, and all the names being linked with exits, no final decisions have officially been announced. And that's what makes this situation so fascinating. Because while fans are debating futures and journalists are predicting departures, Iraola is still watching. Still evaluating. Still forming his first impressions as Liverpool manager. That means every match, every training session, and every conversation could change the outcome. A player believed to be heading for the exit door could suddenly force his way back into the manager's plans. Another player who feels secure today could find himself unexpectedly pushed toward a transfer tomorrow. Nothing is guaranteed. And that's where the final twist emerges. The World Cup may actually become the event that saves some of these Liverpool careers. Imagine Alisson producing a tournament full of world-class performances. Imagine Mac Allister helping Argentina make another deep run. Imagine Endo inspiring Japan. Imagine clubs across Europe lining up with major offers that completely change Liverpool's calculations. The biggest stage in football has a habit of rewriting stories overnight. One brilliant tournament can transform a player's future. One disappointing month can do the opposite. That's why the real drama hasn't happened yet. It's waiting. Waiting for the World Cup to end. Waiting for Liverpool's players to return to Anfield. Waiting for those closed-door meetings where careers could be reshaped in a matter of minutes. And when those conversations finally happen, some players may receive the backing they desperately want. Others may hear the words they've been fearing all summer. The rebuild is coming. The decisions are coming. And if the reports are even partially true, Liverpool's squad could look completely different by the time the new season begins. The only question now is this. Which of these 6 players will survive Iraola's revolution, and which ones will become its first casualties? What do you think about Iraola's reported plans for Liverpool? Has the club made the right decision by considering a major squad overhaul, or is this a dangerous gamble that could backfire? More importantly, which of these 6 players would you keep at Anfield, and which ones would you be willing to let leave? Would you hold on to experienced stars like Alisson and Joe Gomez? Would you give Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones more opportunities? Or do you believe a complete reset is exactly what Liverpool need to return to the top? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this debate is only getting started, and Liverpool fans around the world seem completely divided on what should happen next. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Liverpool news, transfer updates, and breaking football stories. The summer rebuild is just beginning, and the biggest twists may still be ahead.